going to see if the diagonals in a rhombus, parallelogram, square, and rectangle bisect the interior angles. First, we'll start with the rhombus. So, there's going to be a diagonal through the middle. Now, if we fold it on top of each other, these angles should equal out. And they do. These angles right here are equal to each other. Now we will check by folding it up and down, or side to side. If this lays on top of each other, that means the interior angles are bisected, and they are, because they equal up to each other, meaning that they're equal. So the rhombus diagonals do bisect the interior angles. Next, we'll do the parallelogram. We will draw the diagonal from this corner all the way to this corner. Again, if the interior angles bisect, they should lay on top of each other. They don't. But we'll try from another angle. See if they lay on top of each other. And they don't. Now, if you compare these angles, this angle is a lot bigger than this angle, so they are not equal. So, no. The interior angles of the parallelogram do not bisect. Now we will go to a square. We're going to the square. We will draw a diagonal from this corner to this corner. If they are equal, they should line up on top of each other. And they do. Now we'll draw another diagonal. Your hand is really close to my face. And they do. And you can see right here that these two angles are equal in size. So the diagonals in a square do bisect the interior angles. Lastly, we'll look at our rectangle. We will draw a diagonal and fold. Nope. Draw another one. No. And then you can see that this angle is a lot smaller than this angle. So, in a rectangle, the diagonals in a rectangle do not bisect the interior angle. Now, according to our checklist, a rhombus's diagonals should bisect the interior angles. To check this, I'll draw some diagonals on Sketchpad. So this is a diagonal from C to B. If this is correct, when I find the angle bisector of angle ACD, it should lay right on top of the diagonal. And it does. So we are good. We can now measure angle ACB and see that it is 56.59 degrees, and we can measure angle BCD and see that it is also 56.59 degrees. So this diagonal does bisect the interior angle of a rhombus. Go. According to what we found earlier, the diagonals of a parallelogram do not bisect the interior angles. But let's check to make sure. So I will draw a diagonal, and if it does bisect, that'll do what the rhombus did, and lay right on top. Oh, I still have the line highlighted. What? So for angle ABT, it'll lay right on top. And it does not.
We can also check for the angle going, or diagonal, I mean, going the other direction, just in case. So we'll do C, B, A, angle bisector. And that does not lie on top either. Therefore, our findings earlier were correct. To check even further, we can measure the angles of B, C, A, which is this angle right here. And we get 56.19. And that should not be the same as angle A, C, D, which is 85.90. So therefore, we were even more correct. Of course, if our paper from before is right, a square should also match up like a rhombus, and the diagonals will interiorly bisect the square. So I will make a diagonal from this corner to this corner, and the bisector of ACB should lie directly, I made that a vector sound, should directly lie on top of the diagonal, and it did. And just to double check, we can measure angle CAD, and we see that it's 45 degrees, which makes sense because it's a square, and a square has 90-degree angles. And we can also measure DAB, which is also 45 degrees. So our findings before were right. Yay! Finally, we'll check if the diagonals of a rectangle bisect the interior angles. They should not, according to our research before. So I will make a diagonal from A to D, and I will find the angle bisector of BAC, and it should not line up. Fine. See? It does not line up. To double check, I can find the angle measurement of BAD, which is 73.3 degrees, 03 degrees. And I will find the angle of DAC, which is 16.97 degrees. These are not the same, which shows that all of our research was right before, and that a rhombus, diagonals of a rhombus, do bisect the interior angles. The parallelograms do not. The square diagonals also do bisect the interior angles, and the rectangle does not.